In September 2012, Dr. Jennifer Carter, DISA Component Acquisition Executive, and Ms. Kathleen Miller, Agency Director for Procurement, brought together two of their divisions to form the Acquisition Support Center, or ASC. We have Dr. Carter and Ms. Miller in the studio today, and we're going to talk to them about the ASC. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Miller, we're going to start with you. What led to the development of the ASC?
I wrote a concept paper for then General Pollitt when he was the director in September 2009, based on the Air Force Acquisition Support Center of Excellence concept. I came from a heavy acquisition major command in the Air Force, and they have a multifunctional ASCE, Acquisition Center of Excellence, that covers all the acquisition ilities, if you will, from program management to financial management, contracting, testing, logistics. And they serve as consultants to teams that are going through major acquisition actions, from acquisition planning to award. And I saw that we needed something that here to help the folks who are working on some of our actions. And it's we finally got it to get off the ground.
Yes.
The ASC has a core of employees from both PLD and CAE. How does this work? How does this help PMOs work through their acquisitions?
Well, because between the two groups, we cover pretty much the gamut of the considerations that have to go into planning an acquisition effort. From the acquisition planning, whether it's a major program that has to comply with the DoD 5000, or and eventually ends in a procurement action that has to comply with the Federal Acquisition Regulation and the defense supplement to that. So my folks are 1102 procurement folks. Dr. Carter's folks are acquisition folks in the program management area. They have a lot of knowledge that they can use to help the teams that are going through the effort. The way we set it up, Dr. Carter has someone assigned as the chief of the ASC. I have another 15 that serves as the deputy. And then we combined our action officer levels to work together.
I'd like to add that we also have matrix support from across the different directorates and PEOs. We have support from CTO's office, enterprise engineering, the chief financial executive's office, and basically they bring specialized support which would cover the whole range of an acquisition life cycle, and testing and engineering skills and things like that to support people as well.
Wow,
the
fantastic.
ideal would be to eventually have all those people inside the ASC, but we are kind of thin, one deep in a lot of areas, and it's hard to ask the PEOs and the programs to give up some of that expertise, but they're available to help us as needed.
I can imagine that would be a difficult thing to do. How do you anticipate the ASC will enable PMOs to provide better packages?
We've worked a lot on our templates, so the folks on the ASC will be able to help them write better packages, hopefully from the start, so we don't have a lot of scrap and redo.
Now, the DISA Strategic Plan 2013-2018 references acquisition agility as a strategic shift. How does the development of the ASC support this shift?
Because the consultant should be able to help the teams look at the things that will help us to structure the programs and the resultant contracts to be as flexible and agile as possible. Right now we have a lot of contracts that are very much directorate focused, and they may have, for example, some scope that actually would be of benefit to all of DISA and sometimes to all of DoD. If they're coming through the the Acquisition Support Center, they can kind of steer them into thinking through those things and building the scope in to give us more flexibility to react quickly to some of the things that are coming down the pike.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Carter, you've been sitting here kind of quiet, so we're going to turn on you now.
Okay.
You've been at DISA for what, about 8 months?
About that.
Over 8 months. What have you learned about DISA's acquisition capabilities, and how does ASC support it?
So DISA has a unique set of acquisition requirements. Some of them range, they range all the way from traditional ACAT programs like Teleport to very agile IT acquisition capabilities like GCS, SJ, and others, where you need to get in the enterprise services piece where you have to get capabilities out very quickly to users, and what we want, and also then very large acquisition of services like we have for supporting the DISN. And so DISA has a wide range of different types of acquisition. And some of them are very well done and very disciplined and structured, and some of them are even flagship for examples of how to do IT acquisition. And then others are smaller programs or leveraging a commercial capability. And what we want to do is we want to get the level of acquisition rigor to support folks that are get some standardization across the agency. And so that we can help people figure out how to tailor for their unique type of acquisition and how to be able to streamline it so we can get the capabilities out faster. So the Acquisition Support Center really has the reference material that folks have. It has expertise to help them figure out how to tailor the acquisition process for their unique acquisition. And whether it's an acquisition of services or traditional acquisition or IT model, there's the right people there to help them figure out how to set it up so that they can get agility in the delivery of their capabilities.
Fantastic. Well, the ASC also offers on-call matrix support from various organizations and disciplines across the agency. What are your expectations of the on-call support team members? How will they help the DISA workforce?
That's a very important part of the Acquisition Support Center. As Ms. Miller mentioned, we don't have the capacity to be able to build up expertise in every phase of an acquisition, but it's very integral to having a successful program. So the systems engineering has to be laid out so it's well done in the beginning. You have to think about the operations perspective, even in the very early stages and then all through the life cycle. And every program or project doesn't have the capacity to have an operations expert or a systems engineering expert, and maybe the big projects all do, or business model. Folks have to be able to think about the business model piece. So if you can provide those at a central location, now you can make sure you've got that really well-established subject matter expertise available to a broad range of folks that need it for the whole life cycle of their program.
Great. Well, one of the ASC's plans is to help the agency create first-pass approval, acquisition strategies and packages. What does that entail?
That's really important because if we're trying to get capabilities out quickly and we want to work to be agile, it's important that the packages, we still have to follow the acquisition rigor. We need to make sure that we've got the right requirements so that the delivery can match what we need. And in order to make that all move smoothly, the acquisition strategy, the acquisition plan, which we've been working to streamline the format and the content for, and then the procurement packages, they all have to be in reasonable shape. And the idea is for the Acquisition Support Center to help people with that first pass so that instead of them taking a stab at something they might not have a lot of expertise doing, and then it sends back to them, and then they try to correct it, and it goes back again, and then comes back to them. What we're trying to do is have somebody help them actually prepare the package, not just give them comments or advice on it, but actually help with the hands-on preparing of that package so that that package can go through the first time and thereby shorten that cycle time for getting capabilities out.
And that experience should help to grow expertise across the agency. The concept for the Acquisition Support Center is those folks who are in it right now are going to rotate in for 2 to 3 years, and then we'll put another group in gradually. So you have gradual turnover, gradually building more and more people up to the same level of expertise, helping the programs that come through so that we achieve this standard of expertise that works for everybody across the agency. Over time, it will increase our competency.
Wow. So it's really a one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Can you tell us any success stories?
So I think one is part of it is every program office can't stand up the capability they need to surge on, for example, getting something started. So the mobility program is a good example. When we started that, we needed to start it up quickly. It's an important initiative, and in order to get that stood up quickly, we needed an acquisition strategy, an acquisition plan, and program plan. And we didn't have the staff entirely on board right from the start, so we were able to leverage personnel in the Acquisition Support Center to help with that surge capability. So I think it's going to be able to provide not only a search capability for folks, but then that level of quality when you go through a milestone or you get prepared for a milestone. We're going to have people there that can help you get through those events much more quickly. And they've already started that with some particular programs that have come in ahead of time, and they've worked with them getting the acquisition strategy. And we've seen already in a couple of cases that things are going through more smoothly and with a quicker cycle time because they've got that support up front.
Great. Tell us about the portal. What information can we find on there?
So the portal was set up to be able to provide easy access to information for a broad range of acquisition professionals and just folks that are involved with acquisitions. And so there's a set of references and guidelines. There's templates available as starting points for preparing documentation. And then we've also been working to make the information easily digestible and we're going to continue to do that as things evolve, so that you don't have to wade through the guidelines, that there's materials and briefings and things like that you can open up and that will help folks really easily understand the acquisition content. In addition, it helps you classify the particular work that you're looking to establish, what kind of project or program or initiative or acquisition of services you have, and it gives you the guidelines for being able to prepare the right packages and the right information to be able to manage it as that particular acquisition category.
Yeah, it's going to be very helpful if people will go and look at it. It's a great first step, and then they can come and talk to the team and get started.
Final thoughts?
I think it's great for DISA. It's great for our acquisition workforce. I think it's going to help us get better, and we need to be better with everything that we're working these days.
And I'd like to highlight it isn't just for the acquisition professionals, and we have a broad range of reference material there. So if folks are supporting an acquisition in a particular way or want to learn more about acquisition, we've got a lot of references there, and we've got a lot of people there that they can talk to and get support as they participate in an acquisition, which might not be their mainstream core job.
One final thing we are still working is to get the team co-located together. Right now, the PLD folks are still sitting in PLD spaces, and the CAE part of the Acquisition Support Center is still sitting up in CAE quarters. We really need, and we're working with Mr. Manley and MPS on that, because that will help to solidify the team and make it easier for people to know where to go find them.
Great. Well, good luck with that, and good luck with all of it. Dr. Carter, Ms. Miller, thank you so much for making time in your day for this.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.